Summer is finally here, and I hope that means that you're watching this video from the beach or at the cottage. But whether you're in vacation mode or maybe you're keeping things going at the office, summer is a perfect time to assess how well are you managing the tension between activity and rest. Because in terms of high performance and generally just thriving in life, activity and rest is a critical tension to manage. So here's a few tips on how in these summer months, you can leverage both activity and rest to have a great season. Let's start by looking at some simple things that you can do to really embrace rest in the season ahead. The first thing is actually something that I learned from thought leader Juliet Funt, who says that you need stripes in your calendar. If I was to look at my calendar on my phone or on the computer, between every booking, there should always be some white space with nothing planned. And generally, that means that there's stripes between bookings. If you look at your calendar and there's no stripes, that's a red flag that you probably are not allowing for enough rest and recovery. So this summer, practice always scheduling and having a boundary that there's a stripe between bookings. The second tip on how to embrace rest and recovery is similar. It's scheduling breaks at least every 90 minutes in your workday. There's a lot of research that would say about 60 to 90 minutes, even if we're busy, our productivity and our focus goes down, which means we need to recover. So scheduling short breaks every 60 to 90 minutes, that could be something as simple as doing a Wordle or maybe going for a walk around the block, can give you the rest you need to show up well. And the third tip I'd have about how to embrace rest really comes down to this. How do you make sure that rest doesn't mean you're staring at your phone? And I would say in this season ahead, it's a perfect time to limit social media. You can go in and program. I know for me, it's 10 minutes. And once that 10-minute limit's up, my phone doesn't allow me to use social media anymore. The other thing that you can do is turn off your notifications. When those emails come in or when those texts come in, they'll be there, but you don't need prompts and sounds to remind you. If you can do those three things, the likelihood of you embracing rest and recovery this summer is going to go way up. So how are we going to embrace activity this summer? Well, my first tip is to get outside. Here in Canada, getting outdoors some seasons isn't quite as easy as it is right now. And we know that when we get outside, our mental energy goes up, our immunity increases, we sleep better. So look for ways that you can get outdoors this summer. Go for nice long hikes, enjoy a sunset, find a beach volleyball team that you can play in. Make sure that you're getting outside as much as possible. The second tip is make it social. What's interesting is if we can do things with other people, our sense of connection goes up. The other thing that's interesting is our commitment level goes up. We're more committed because we don't want to let people down. So maybe schedule a card night on the patio or get it to a ball game with friends. Look for things that you can do where others are involved. So the last tip I have on how to embrace activity this summer is make it fun. Make sure that whatever you're putting in your calendar, they're not things that you got to do, they're things that you get to do. Think of times in your life where you have been at your best, when you've loved the activities that you've been part of, and look at how do you make sure that happens this summer? Or maybe on that list of to-dos, the skills that you want to try learning or the hobbies that you want to take up, this is a perfect time to make that happen. Make sure that the activities that you schedule are fun. Remember, activity and rest is not a problem that you'll ever solve. It's a tension that you've got to learn to manage. If you overfocus on activity and you neglect rest, you're on a one-way path to burnout and resentment. If you overfocus on rest and you neglect activity, your productivity goes down and you just feel blah. If, however, you can use these healthy tension tips and really leverage both activity and rest, get ready for a season ahead where you move from surviving to thriving.